Chapter 2. What Lucy Found There. Good evening, said Lucy, but the fawn was so busy picking up its parcels that at first it did not reply. When it had finished, it made her a little bow. Good evening, said the fawn. Excuse me, I don't want to be inquisitive, but should I be right in thinking that you are a daughter of Eve? Uh, my name's Lucy, said she, not quite understanding him. But you are, forgive me, you are what they call a girl? Asked the fawn. Of course I'm a girl, said Lucy. You are in fact human? Uh, of course I'm human, said Lucy, still a little puzzled. To be sure, said the fawn. How stupid of me! But I have never seen a son of Adam or a daughter of Eve before. I am delighted. That is to say, and then it stopped, as if it had been going to say something it had not intended, but had remembered in time. Delighted, it went on. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Tumnus. I am very pleased to meet you, Mr. Tumnus, said Lucy. And may I ask, oh Lucy, daughter of Eve, said Mr. Tumnus, how have you come into Narnia? Narnia? What's that? Said Lucy. This is the land of Narnia, said the fawn. Where we are now, all that lies between the lamp post and the great castle of Cair Paravel on the eastern sea. And you have come from the wild woods of the west? Uh, I got in through the wardrobe in the spare room, said Lucy. Ah, said Mr. Tumnus in a rather melancholy voice, if only I had worked harder in geography when I was a little fawn, I should no doubt know all about those strange countries. It is too late now. But they aren't countries at all, said Lucy, almost laughing. It's just back there. At least I'm not sure. It is summer there. Meanwhile, said Mr. Tumnus, it is winter here in Narnia, and has been for ever so long, and we shall both catch cold if we stand here talking in the snow. Daughter of Eve, from the far land of Spare where eternal summer reigns round the bright city of Wardrobe, how would it be if you came and had tea with me? Thank you very much, Mr. Tumnus, said Lucy, but I was wondering whether I ought to be getting back. It's only just around the corner, said the fawn. There'll be a roaring fire and toast and sardines and cake. Well, that's very kind of you, said Lucy, but I shan't be able to stay long. If you will take my arm, daughter of Eve, said Mr. Tumnus, I shall be able to hold the umbrella over us, both of us. That's the way. Now off we go. And so Lucy found herself walking through the wood arm in arm with this strange creature as if they had known one another all their lives. They had not gone far before they came to a place where the ground became rough. There were rocks all around, and little hills up and little hills down. At the bottom of one small valley Mr. Tumnus turned suddenly aside, as if he were going to walk straight into an unusually large rock. But at the last moment Lucy found he was leading her into the entrance of a cave. As soon as they were inside, she found herself blinking in the light of a wood fire. Then Mr. Tumnus stooped down and took a flaming piece of wood out of the fire, with a neat little pair of tongs and a little lamp. Now, shan't be long, he said, and immediately put a kettle on. Lucy thought she had never been in a nicer place. It was a little, dry, clean cave of reddish stone, with a carpet on the floor and two little chairs. One for me, one for a friend, said Mr. Tumnus, and a table and a dresser and a mantelpiece over the fire, and above that picture of an old fawn with a grey beard. In one corner here was a door which Lucy thought must lead to Mr. Tumnus's bedroom, and on one wall was a shelf full of books. Lucy looked at these while he was setting out tea things. They had titles like The Life and Letters of Silenus, or Nymphs and Their Ways, and Men, Monks, and Gamekeepers. Now, daughter of Eve, said the fawn, and it really was a wonderful tea. There was a nice brown egg lightly boiled for each of them, and then sardines on toast, and then buttered toast, and then toast with honey, and then a sugary cake. And then Lucy was tired of eating. The fawn began to talk. He had wonderful tales to tell of life in the forest. He told about the midnight dances and how the nymphs who lived in the wells and the dryads who lived in the trees came out to dance with the fawns, with long hunting parties after the milk-white stag, who could give you wishes if you caught him, about feasting and treasure-seeking with the wild red dwarfs in deep mines and caverns far beneath the forest, and then about summer when the woods were green, and old Silenus and his fat donkey who would come visit them, and sometimes Bacchus himself, and when the streams would run with wine instead of water, and the whole forest would give itself up in jollification on the weekends. Not that it isn't always winter now, he said gloomily. Then, to cheer himself up, he took out from his case on a dresser a little flute that looked as if it were made of straw, and began to play. And the tune he played made Lucy want to cry and laugh and dance and go to sleep all at the same time. It must have been hours later when she shook herself and said, "Oh, Mr. Tumnus, I'm sorry to stop you, and I do love that tune, but really I must go home. I only meant to stay for a few minutes." "It's no good now, you know," said the fawn, laying down his flute and shaking his head at her very sorrowfully. "No good?" said Lucy, jumping up and feeling rather frightened. "What do you mean? I've got to go home at once. The others will be wondering what has happened to me." But a moment later she asked, "Mr. Tumnus, whatever is the matter?" The for the fawn's brown eyes had filled with tears, and then the tears began trickling down his cheeks, and soon they were running off the end of its nose, and at last it covered its face with its hands and began to howl. "Mr. Tumnus, Mr. Tumnus," said Lucy in great distress, don't, what's the matter? Aren't you well? Dear Mr. Tumnus, do tell me what's wrong." But the fawn continued sobbing as if its heart would break, and even when Lucy went over and put her arms around him and lent him her handkerchief, he did not stop. He merely took the handkerchief and kept on using it, wringing it out with both hands whenever it got too wet to be any use any more, so that presently Lucy was standing in a damp patch. "Mr. Tumnus," bawled Lucy in his ear, shaking him, "do stop! Stop it at once! You ought to be ashamed of yourself. A great big fawn like you! What on earth are you crying about?" "Oh, oh," sobbed Mr. Tumnus. "I'm crying because I'm such a bad fawn." "I don't think you're a bad fawn at all," said Lucy. I think you're a very good fawn. You are the nicest fawn I've ever met." "Oh, you wouldn't say that if you knew," replied Thomas between his slabs. "No, I'm a bad fawn, and I don't suppose there ever was a worse fawn since the beginning of the world." "But what have you done?" asked Miss Lucy. "My old father, now," said Mr. Tumnus. "That's his picture over the mantelpiece. He would never have done such a thing like this." "A thing like what?" said Lucy. "Like what I've done," said the fawn. "Taken service under the White Witch. That's what I am. I'm in pay of the White Witch." "The White Witch? Who is she?" "Why, it is she that has all of Narnia under her thumb. It's she that makes it always winter, and never Christmas. Think of that!" "How awful!" said Lucy. "But what does she pay you for?" "That's the worst of it," said Mr. Tumnus with a deep groan. "I'm a kidnapper for her. That's what I am. Look at me,